The movie begins with news spreading worldwide about a huge meteor shower near Tokyo. Later, Sergeant Michael is shown, who has lost many of his companions in his last mission, and now he has decided to retire. However, he is then informed about the news of several spaceships about to be landed on the Earth. On the other hand, Lieutenant Williams Martinez is shown, who spends some time with his pregnant wife before he is called by his seniors for urgent services. Meanwhile, Michael is ordered to join Lieutenant Martinez. Eventually, all Army officers group together to watch the news, in which they are informed that the spaceships have reached Santa Monica's coast. Unexpectedly, an unidentified enemy starts attacking the civilians and Navy with its military, causing destruction on the beach. The military prepares to defend Los Angeles, realizing the meteors are actually not meteors but the spaceships of aliens. The soldiers are stunned to watch this scene as creatures are spotted along the coast. The news reporter on the television also gets killed, and then all Army officers rush towards a helicopter to initiate their mission against the creatures. The soldiers, including Staff Sergeant Michael Nance, move out for action. Nance's resignation is delayed as the situation worsens, and he eventually joins Lieutenant Martinez's platoon. In the helicopter, Martinez writes a letter for his wife, which he plans to deliver to her in case he dies during the mission. The aliens destroy many helicopters of the Army, and then the mission director informs the officers that the Air Force will bomb this area in 3 hours. Before it happens, Mike and his team have to reach a specific police station in Los Angeles to protect the civilians there. The Marines leave their air base in California to protect Los Angeles. Arriving at Santa Monica Airport, they head to the base, discussing their defense plans and assisting civilians. As they move through the smoke-filled area caused by the enemy attacks, chaos ensues with bomb blasts. All the soldiers can see the aliens because of the smoke, so they take shelter behind some cars. The aliens start chasing the fighters, and suddenly, a soldier is dragged by the aliens into the bushes. Lieutenant William panics as he has no experience, and Mike calms him down. They both get to know that a soldier named Linehan is missing. Mike, with 2 of his companions, goes to find him and eventually learns that Linehan has taken shelter in a garage. Linehan communicates his location by radio, but suddenly, he detects something approaching him from behind. Unexpectedly, an alien attacks him and shoots at his shoulder. Linehan struggles to fight against a creature. He shoots at the creature, throwing it into a swimming pool, and then, fortunately, Mike's team finds him. Despite multiple attacks and retaliation, the alien doesn't die, leading them to throw a bomb at him, which kills him. Mike and his team then head towards the police station, where they meet another technical sergeant named Alina. She informs them that aliens somehow knew their location and attacked them, so they have to be careful. Reaching the police station, the team starts finding the civilians. They encounter more danger. A team member is severely injured, and they also encounter 5 survivors seeking help. Among these survivors are 3 children, their father, and his wife, a veterinarian. Mike's team gets a signal that the helicopter is about to rescue them in 28 minutes. Upon the lieutenant's command, they all start accommodating injured soldiers into the helicopter. However, Mike requests them to let the injured children join them in the helicopter too, but the pilot informs him about the less space. Unable to accommodate the civilians, they say farewell to them, and the helicopter flies away with only soldiers inside. However, it is unexpectedly destroyed by a bomb thrown by the aliens. The remaining team goes back to the police station. Witnessing the creatures' power, the team calls for urgent assistance, realizing they're facing a highly organized extraterrestrial force. Corporal Kevin Harris panics, seeing his team members die because of the blast, but another member helps him calm down. On the other hand, the lieutenant stresses out after losing 4 men, and he blames himself for it as he was the one to send away those injured soldiers through the helicopter. However, the staff sergeant motivates and calms him. They all plan to move to a safer place, which is a forward operating base. 2 soldiers are then sent to the rooftop of the police station, where they start watching aliens' activities from a distance. While observing the creatures, they realize the aliens have lookouts and leaders. Later, the news suggests the creatures might target Earth's water, given that the planet has a lot of it. The soldiers on the roof see a bus and inform the team about it. While scouting, they find a wounded alien and see that its gun has been attached to its hand, hinting that aliens' weapons could only be used by themselves. Despite wanting to shoot it, they decide to examine its body so that they can kill it, effectively targeting the most sensitive part of their bodies. This way, they won't waste their bullets. A civilian veterinarian offers help in this regard. They discover where their hearts are and learn that shooting them at their hearts might kill them instantly. Meanwhile, the two soldiers on watch notice more aliens heading toward the police station. One of the soldiers suspects an alien approaching them, and he attacks them with a grenade. The team at the station splits. Some go to the south entrance, while others operate the bus to rescue the remaining members. They throw a bomb at the creatures, eventually killing one alien but facing more attacks in response. The sergeant decides to leave the station, shooting creatures as they get on the bus. Realizing they are 6 miles from the forward operating base, they estimate needing 25 to 30 minutes to reach it. The Air Force is expected to clear the area in 40 minutes, so they rush. Suddenly, they spot hundreds of creatures flying in formation over Los Angeles. They turn off all devices emitting signals to avoid detection. Sergeant Mike leaves the bus while the team watches out for nearby enemies. The sergeant then takes a different route and leaves a radio on at a gas station, leading the enemy away. He throws a bomb at them and returns to the bus swiftly, with his team celebrating his brave move. Driving a bit more, they are 2.5 miles from the forward operating base, but unfortunately, the drone-like creature attacks them. The lieutenant rushes through the fire while the sergeant protects the civilians. Chaos erupts as aliens swarm, soldiers get shot, and some fall from a bridge. They lose another team member, and amidst the chaos, the lieutenant gets wounded. They decide to evacuate everyone from the city immediately. The lieutenant orders the sergeant to get the team and civilians off the freeway and leaves a letter for his wife before sacrificing himself by using bombs against the aliens. Following the lieutenant's order, Staff Sergeant Michael continues the mission, but the team grows suspicious of him without understanding the true reasons for his actions. Eventually, they all flee the bombing area and reach a store for medicines and first aid. An injured civilian gets treated with his son by his side. The staff sergeant talks to the civilian, offering support and promising to take care of his son before an urgent interruption. They learn from the news that the creatures use water as fuel and power. The team locates the aliens' command center, realizing they need to destroy it. The Air Force prepares to bomb it but faces unexpected problems. They are only able to destroy a small portion of it, and the actual huge control center emerges from the ground. The control center remains untouched, and in response, it destroys Santa Monica Airport along with the Army's operating base. While searching for a safe place on the map, the team receives news of a civilian's death. The sergeant, deeply affected, consoles the deceased civilian's son, comforting him and providing motivation, calling him his little Marine. Determined not to lose another civilian, Mike moves out, commanding his men to prioritize their safety. One soldier approaches him with respect, having lost his brother under the sergeant's leadership. Some soldiers blame him for their losses, but he defends himself, saying that he always remembers his fallen soldiers' names and military ID numbers, urging everyone to honor their memory by persevering and not giving up. They prepare to defend themselves and leave the area, knowing it'll take a while to reach the closest evacuation spot, but they understand that they must keep moving. The soldiers guide the civilians to a light armored vehicle, seeking help via radio as a helicopter is set to arrive in 2 minutes. Despite encountering aliens on their way, they speed up, and the sergeant engages in a tough fight, taking down the creatures. They board the helicopter, but it starts experiencing power fluctuations, hinting they're close to the aliens' command center. The sergeant, unable to land, hands the lieutenant's letter for his wife to a civilian. The sergeant lands on a nearby roof with a rope, followed by the soldiers. They rush through dim hallways and canals in search of the aliens' base. Soon after, another alien finds them, sparking another battle. When it's defeated, they rush up to the rooftop and locate the center. Planning their defense behind sturdy rocks, they assign roles while one soldier calls for help. They use a laser to mark targets, but an alien's drone bombs Kearns, turning him to ashes. Despite the attack, they continue fighting and bombing the aliens, waiting for rescue. Unfortunately, another soldier, Ahmed, gets trapped among the rocks, but the staff sergeant comes forward for his help. Suddenly, the center strikes, shocking them. Drones try to pull them away, but the sergeant stays focused on targeting the aliens with the laser. Ahmed eventually frees himself, As the ship starts moving away, Tech Sergeant Santos shoots the last flying drone, while the staff sergeant uses the laser to create a bomb that fortunately destroys the command center. Both sides engage in manual combat, with aliens losing it. Finally, a helicopter rescues them, and they land at a temporary base, where they rest after their heroic efforts in taking down the ship and saving civilians. The movie concludes with the soldiers rearming and joining a force to reclaim Los Angeles.